Daniel-san, you make Miyagi happy. I see there's been 150 views on a recent video. That's good. Keep it up. Keep it up. It's what I want to see. I don't want to waste my time here. When I put out a video, I want people to pay attention to every word that's being said, especially the spiritual content, not just the distractionary. So let's talk about this. Seems like just last week I saw the video by Sandman, but I didn't click on it. But I'm like, I know all about it, bro. I don't even want to click. About white women using Hindu men. God, I can only imagine, man. Well, basically, there's this one female who works out at the gym, and I've been aware of the giant fetish and worship for a long time, and it's not something that women admit. Authoritarian worship, worship of cops, worship of military. You know, there isn't really any real appreciation for the counterculture guy, only if he's a piece of shit like Antifa or a right-wing nutbag, you know, January 6th, you know, person like that who's going to, you know, play the Matrix and play up a woman's, you know, desire to be around a person who's attracting status, wealth, likes, clicks, you know, just demon shit. And then Mark Passio talked about the female worship of giants also, and now it seems to trace back to the ancient world of the fallen wars of the past. Nephilim, Anunnaki. We'll talk about the big booty worship also. I see the ads for YouTube going, get a rear end. You're not good enough unless you have a rear end. It's mind control. It's not good. Because I look around, I see there's a really unhealthy obsession with a big booty and no interest in communication, no interest in eye contact, and nobody being the adult in the room, in the media going, ladies, if you're going to create a lifestyle that's all about looking at that booty, there's going to be consequences because this is a planet full of unspiritual men that are lost in lust, that have been broken by their mothers. And so if you know that there's a certain segment of the population that have been broken by their mothers and they have no self-control, is it really in the woman's best interest, really, if she's not a prostitute, to be drawing eyes to that booty? That big juicy booty, is it really in the benefit of the woman to live in a culture where men are conditioned to rate a woman by the booty? Is it really in a woman's best interest to not call out the culture telling women to treat themselves as sex objects? Is it really in the benefit of the woman to just say to men, don't treat us like an object? Is it really in the benefit, right, to not call out the media that is making us objects? The media, the cell phones, the algorithm, China, which will be selling us, China, which will be selling us and rating us based on how much we're worth to them as slaves. Okay, slavery's coming back. Okay, and that's the most scary thing that these people don't get. Slavery's coming back. Okay, they don't believe that. Maybe I think they like that. Let me tell you this. I do not approve of any type of pornography content that simulates boyfriends having to watch their women having, you know. I don't approve of that, nor any of the other content with you-know-what being shoved up the you-know-what. Everybody should want that stuff banned. And everybody that's just okay with that is a part of the zombies. The demons that came here. You got to understand that the zombie apocalypse that I'm talking about right now is one in which it's not so much different monsters that are coming, but humans that are born with no empathy, that'll do horrible things to other men and women, that'll sell them, that'll traffic them, that'll hang out with basically the gangsters and stuff. So that's basically the future, basically. Even though America is collapsing, it's not going to be a paradise. It's a bunch of cell phone programmed carnal people that'll be selling people. They don't even care, man. They're so broken down by the things that happen to them. They'll do anything for money. They'll do anything for money, anything for a buck, anything at all for money. They will do anything for money, anything. And that's dangerous. And that's dangerous. But when money goes away, they'll still do anything for things, because we will still be the same animals. So even when money goes away and the cell phone goes away, then people will be joining the bad man that slaps the women in line. That's going to be sick. And so the real nature of what we are as humans will be revealed even when the grid goes down with who the women will flock to. The bad men with the food, the bad men with the compounds, the bad men and women with the guns. It will still be the same slavery even when the grid goes down. And that's what troubles me. We're facing this evil long into the future. So let's get back to the point. The Hindu worship is deep. That woman has needed my spiritual teachings for months. I'm psychic enough to know when a woman needs my light. And I'm not talking about the won't. And I don't really believe that you can truth a woman through the won't if she doesn't want it. I've won't enough and seen them go to the dark side. In fact, it puts the spiritual man at risk for doing the womp womp with the demon chick who hasn't really like stated her true intentions for seeking out, the juju juice of a light being of a prophet. So that's what directs cum guzzlers and whores to men that are of light, to throw them away and break their heart. They have a job to do for the evil one. They have a job to do for Satan. That's why sluts will seek me out when I'm in my young prime, confuse me, distract me, make me think that they're a part of the movement to free the women, to expose the wars, but in fact, they were just there for the party, for the ride, for the orgasm, for the carnalism, for the lower root chakra, They were only there for that experience, for the reptoid, archonic, demonic analysis of everything that they need to know about my potential. And then they input it into the Borg, and then it goes up to the spacecraft for analysis. As I said, for many years in the future, many men will be deceived by their penises, via their lust. Well, in fact, many times in which I'm speaking about the future, in fact, I'm speaking about the present. Even THX 1138 was supposedly about the future, made in the 1970s, but in many ways, it was about the present. And she knows what I do when I open up my hand like that. Information's flowing out of my hands to that older lady who's 65, who knows what I'm saying. But even though she's 65, even though she's 66, even though she's 67, even though she's 68, these women that are on their last legs on earth, they aren't actually different. They just are of a vibrational difference because they're of a different soul group that were born in, say, 1950, 1960, 1970. They're of a different soul group. They grew up listening to different music. Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, there's a lot of love songs about that music. There was organic food back then. Men acted differently, but men were not angels. Men were still evil then. And nice guys still finished last. But there were a few nice guys that got their foot in the door here and there that we can see throughout history. There aren't very many, and they don't exactly get advertised. But nice guy gene pools do succeed. And then you have some souls that are determined to be nice guys, even if they are convinced that their parents are not. That would be me. I'm convinced that I'm fighting for humanity's freedom, and I'm convinced that my parents are fighting for humanity's enslavement, and that they represent the mind slave of the male, of the female, of the people that are taught to worship themselves. And there's a lot of that narcissism that was taught to people of the 70s and 80s, okay, that actually got a chance to date and have healthy relationships to a certain degree, although I don't think my mom had healthy relationships. One of the things that stands out strongly about my mother in all her carnal days, and I hope that she never forgets it, is that she never got into spiritual men. She never got horny and hot to trot for men that accurately wanted to heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. It was more about that, and tell me I'm wrong. Big black cock. A giant black guy who talked about the voices in his head, and then she gave that guy all kinds of energy all throughout the 1980s and 80s. And in the end, what did she do? She threw his ass away like he was a tampon because he said, what? Don't leave Oregon. It won't work out well for you. Did it work out well for her? She's nuts if she thinks it does. Or has. It hasn't. And that's what dangerous, horrible cities can do to you. They can fuck up your mind as a woman. They can implant all types of alien programs into you. And in the end, the only one that's the evil one is your son. And that's what the New World Order is. By studying my mother, we get a deep encyclopedia of what they've done to the women of the earth. You don't understand. By me having the mother that I have front row seats to what they've done, hardcore, the aliens, that is, greys, reptoids, to the women of the earth, especially on the carnal, womp, 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 womp direction. Fucky, sucky, 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 and hating good men, especially your kids. Well, loving, know what I mean? Wow, bad men that are gangsters and shit that bust faces and not even have an explanation why they're just so drawn to people that have such bad karma. Like my mother can't tell me one decent spiritual man to talk to who call on the phone. Hey, I got this person I've been talking to in New York. I told him that you're a YouTuber. I gave him a link to your channel. He said he's spiritual. He said he's psychic. He said he'll give you a reading. Can't do that. If she does get a psychic, get a reading, he'll come up and find out, oh, you fucking abandoned your child in Nazi Germany. You got your son dead. You got your son killed. She literally got a psychic one day in the Big Apple to tell her, yeah, you did horrible shit to your son. That she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I did that for the past life. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what are you apologizing to me from this hypothetical past life in Nazi Germany, mother? Why don't you apologize for abandoning me in this life? Why don't be grounded, woman, in this life for the drama you did in this life? Phone hangs up. She burns the whole psychic reading. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. Military girl comes in and shades like they don't even know that they are being gang raped in the military. Then they get surprised when they're, because what is being done is wrong. And so these things in the news, don't be surprised. You should not hang out with gangsters. Don't hang out with murderers and gangsters and you will be safe. Okay. That's why these people that joined the military ended up buried, because they hung out with bad men that killed my people. Okay? I'm a small man that can take out your giant. Now, when I go there to the sauna, and I go to that sauna room, thank you, God, for not kicking me out of here. They know what I'm doing. And they can kick me out here at any moment, man. They know what I'm doing. And she's not kicking me out. And she knows I'm hurting. And she knows what's up. She just walked outside, the lady that runs this place. I'm telling you, man, we're in the last days. This is not good what's happening. And I'm hurting. Okay? And every day I see these articles about these things. And that article, that story last night, that wasn't a bunch of black kids. Those were white kids. Those were white kids that did that to her. Okay, now you need to be right about this. Just blaming immigrants and worshiping cops, because there are cops that are a part of the system that kidnap women. Just get with that. I'm not blaming all cops, okay? There are cops in military that do bad things to women. So you can't just blame migrants, black people, or the cops. There are bad things happening, okay? If you only remember one thing, remember this. Stop with the hate. Including myself. It's not one demographic who's hurting. I've called out my father's family for hurting me, okay? I've called them racist, okay? I've called my mother racist. I've called Bruce Nagel racist. So please don't take it personal when you see me light a fire under everyone and everything. And understand that I'm hurting right now. Understand that my feelings really hurt today. I go in the sauna and she's talking to this giant Hindu who looks mentally retarded. And she's been around my energy for 6 months. She can use my counseling. She is complaining about her ex coming after her in the sauna. And she's volunteering personal information about herself in the sauna. She's volunteering personal information about stalkers and old boyfriends. And if she wanted a good man to advise her, I would know that. But if I give her this YouTube channel, she will judge me. And then it's going to be awkward in that gym. And so I knew intuitively, don't do that. Don't fall into lust. Don't respond to that young lady who works at the gym saying, hi, how are you? Have a good workout. Because you've already given your channel out to 30 or 40 women here locally, and they won't even come subscribe. So I cannot respond to this perception of pretty. It is a deception. It's evil now. It's straight Satanism. It's for other men. It's for other men. It's for the rich. It's not an eagle. And that's what's scary. It's about a pretty presentation that is there to tease certain men. And then other men, they're getting rewarded. We can watch the video about the woman talking about how Christian women shouldn't be wearing those yoga pants. And then I'll get threatened by somebody who said, never talk about that again or else. And there'll be real world consequences, like she knows the mafia and shit. Wow, not very yoga to know killers and shit. To know people that want to beat up a man. Do you know men that expose human trafficking? Like, no. If I had emails in from the hardcore audience of the women that were calibrated for conspiracy content, Rachel Mary of Ultra Human, or another woman who's in the members area at Substack who's being silent, or somebody else. They're all like silent together, including the mother, including all my relatives. Now think about that. Stop running from this. Oh, he screams, he shouts. Get over it, ma'am, dude. There's death metal guys all over the place that scream and shout. There's gangster rap. No, I'm not a demon. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. And if I was a demon, like, 1 to 5% of you might suspect, accidental warrior sometimes, wishes I was a demon. She'd give me a chance if I was a demon. She's like, well, I wonder if you're a demon, but sometimes I wonder that you're not a demon, and that's why I'll never talk to you, because you're not a demonic giant. Fuck you, Alex. Sometimes I wonder if you're a demon, and I get wet, then I realize you're not, then I stop watching, and I stop talking to you. So you see, I walk into that sauna, and she's with this dude, Hindu. I know it's not necessarily about race, it's size. I go the other day driving down the street, and what does the giant banner say? And then people laugh when you bring it up. And how big was Bruce Lee? And Bruce Lee took down Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But size matters. So this leads men to take steroids so they can get, the poontang. So when the men take the steroid, okay, to get the woman, okay, he also gets into fights over women at the bar. And then he ends up going to prison. And he ends up having road rage. And then literally is road rage all over the place. And sexual frustration leads to male aggression, although it's just not discussed in society. So let's go back to booty short mafia, which is connected to eyelash mafia. And sometimes you have booty short mafia and eyelash mafia working together in one fusion force. Kind of like carrying brass knuckles to a straight fight. It's just too much of an assault on the male psyche. Just tone it down a little. Just tone it down with the booty shorts a little bit. Just tone it down. Not you. We're just speaking, video. So I'm at the gym, right? And then she comes out, and then the booty shorts were underwear. They weren't they were underwear. It was just that the fabric was booty shorts fabric, but it was straight underwear, and she was tall. And she was saying, I can be turned on by a hot woman. I just prefer one about my size because I'm not a P. She doesn't have to be 5'1". I actually prefer a woman about exactly my height. Yeah, I'm kinky like that. I'm not into little girls. I'm not into giants, but if a giant woman really wants it from me, I can huff and a puff and blow down those stereotypes that I can't give her pleasure. Because a lot of women are under that mind control. They don't know what it's like to lock and load with a dude who's got the wayo, who can give it to them multiple times and literally from the planet Pop-Tart, more than their giant boyfriend can, and the whole football team. They don't have literally the pornographic erotica to show them that that's possible. The erotica and the pornography and the 50 Shades of Grey media that they consume tailors their sex drive. In a parallel society with different types of media and different types of pornography and different types of social media, women and their brains would develop differently. And so if media was, say, different or spiritually focused, where their sexuality wasn't shamed but encouraged, but to use their sexuality for the highest good, not to reward bad men and giants that do nothing but slap that ass and make them feel like a human trafficking victim. When they stop acting like rape victims and stop wanting to act like rape victims, and they stop masturbating towards the return of the hero, that they'll get the hero. And I think you need some music, don't you, Sunshine? You need some music, Sunshine. You need some, because we've crossed the Rubicon. Now, not even the die-hard fans of mine will talk to me. Meaning, I am not authorized to say that any women are good whatsoever. Not at all. Don't hurt them. Don't hurt them. Don't slap them. Don't anything. Just understand that until they come to me one-on-one and tell me they are against the trafficking of women, I cannot say that women are good. I cannot say hurt them. I can only say that we are to stop lusting after them. That's the purpose of this NGTOW rant. Not to hurt them, not to anything. If they want me in their life, they can tell me that. If they want me looking at their booty, they can tell me that. If they want me calling out their name when I'm pleasuring myself, they can tell me that in an email. But if you can't tell me that in an email, that you want me X and a warrior thinking about you, you already told me already that shit didn't, little girl. You already told me little girl in the UK is being abused by a giant that you didn't want a short brown man you've been watching for 10 years, thinking about you while I touch myself. Because you're not like that X and a warrior. You're into literally bad people, bad cities, bad regions. You literally are horrified at the idea astrally, at coming together with a spiritual light being who's at war with your daddy, Satan, and that which created the Nephilim race that's destroying my people. Now, you can't say, oh, I'm not white, I'm not white, I'm not white, I'm not white, I'm Indian. There's plenty of white Indians that would piss on me and laugh and laugh and laugh. Being part French, being part Hindu means nothing. Let's go back to this giant at the gym. So he's a giant at the gym. And then she's there just talking it up. She starts the conversation. So if a woman wanted to, if she was psychic, see that I had value and she was psychic enough to realize that she's making the wrong decisions with these boyfriends, then she would psychically have that epiphany go off above her head. And then she would ask me questions about solar flares, about the book. I would talk to her about the book. right? I'm thinking right now about that hot girl, hi, how are you? Bye, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hi, how are you? Maybe I can, tell her one day, hey, lady, World War III is about to break out, and at some point you're going to be looking at the TV for answers. You might as well ask a guy. No, no. Even in the last days, when war begins, they will then be messed by some sort of social media content creator. They will then watch some whore on social media. They'll come to sell their body to Saudi Arabia for World War III. Who will tell them to leave. Americans, they will be watching some social influencer during World War III that will tell them to get out of America and just leave. And then they'll end up leaving America, and they'll end up in torture situations as Americans once they're on the outside. Like, they're not choosing to educate themselves. Okay, now if you know of any women on this earth that are capable of running the military, you let me know and I will study her secrets. If you know of any women that are capable of running the police force, you let me know who they are and I will study their tactics. They don't exist. And every time we have these types of poor decisions of putting women in control, of preventing the rape, preventing the abductions, preventing the invasion, we fail as men, as women. There is a job that the hero has to do. And you people of this society know that's the case, which why for years you worshiped Arnold. But that giant worship ended up biting you in the ass, because in doing so, you ignore the real-life Rambos of the world, like me and others. And when women ignore the Rambos of the world that can do good, some of them that don't even spirituality, they become bad. And when you have a roaming gang of short, giant, and middle-sized men that have been rejected by women and abused by their mothers, you have a dangerous recipe that was created by Satan. Me warning you about the recipe that Satan created is not misogyny, is not misandry. It is blowing the whistle on the devil. That's what this is. It's not racism, it's not classism, it's not politics. It's blowing the whistle on the devil. And what better place on the earth for me to get an education on the ways of the devil? What a better place. What a better place. What better place could there be other than a hellish place in a foreign country, or a hellish place in the Bronx, or New York, or South Central, or what has become of my city, now the most hellish place on the earth for anyone spiritual, Portland, fucking Oregon. Right, so let's get back to Booty Short Mafia. So I'm at that gym doing arms today, and we're about to leave. This was meant to be a fast blast episode, and then we're going to come back with news because we have a rising sun. So she's got the booty shorts on at the gym, looking more like underwear than actual, because she's trying to influence that anal thought, she's trying to force it. And then I'm pumping iron, I'm getting a telepathic thought going, some women that are really hot might profile me as somebody that might fuck them in the ass because I'm buff and short and thus have no value. Thus I'm a sex toy. Thus I'm a subhuman to them who might just fuck them and they can throw away. And I turn around, there she is, looking at me, then she looks away. Tall girl in super short orange. I see the orange booty shorts are rising in popularity. Now the super hot pink booty shorts is oversaturated. And then you got the fat woman wearing the hot pink shorts, and they got the little 9-year-old girl with her daddy wearing the hot pink shorts. I see a little girl wearing the little pink shorts with her daddy. I look at that daddy and just like, what the fuck, daddy? What the fuck? Tell your daughter not to wear the booty shorts. What the fuck? It's just like Chris Rock said, we got to keep our girls off the pole and our boys off the pipe. We got to keep our boys off the pipe and our girls off the pole. That's prophecy from Chris Rock. Now look at our world right now. It's shit. Okay? And then look at Portland, Oregon right now. They decriminalize drugs. Oh, they let the voters decide. When did they ever let us decide shit? The only reason they legalize drugs so they can round them up and put them in the penitentiary. Now if they legalized, they made it illegal again. Okay? Now think about that. Straight Mad Max. I've said enough. May God have mercy on our souls.